Hello everyone, welcome to Deep Sight. I am Stardust, your navigator on the journey through civilization. Explore the history and foresee the future. Let's look for those lost pearls in the long galaxy of history. Today we continue our journey to ancient civilization and enter Indian civilization. Indian civilization is one of the oldest civilizations in the world with a long tradition and rich diversity that has influenced thought, art, science, and literature across the globe. In this video, we will introduce the characteristics and achievements of Indian civilization from the following aspects. In the previous video, we introduced the Indus Valley Civilization, 2600 to 1700 BC, the earliest urban civilization in India and one of the earliest in the world. It established many well-planned cities in the Indus River Valley in northwest India. It reached its peak around 2500 BC, created many advanced technologies and institutions, and developed writing, art, trade, and religion. The reasons for the decline of this civilization are not yet clear, but may be related to climate change, earthquakes, floods, internal conflicts, or foreign invasions. Vedic Age, 1700 to 600 BC. This was the second period of Indian civilization and the origin of Hinduism. This period was characterized by the immigration of the Aryans, nomadic peoples from Central Asia who brought with them Sanskrit and Vedic culture of the Indo-European language family. They mixed with the local indigenous people and formed the basic social structure and religious beliefs of India, such as the caste system, Brahman, Vedic scriptures, etc. The reason for the transition during this period was the emergence of many powerful kingdoms and oligarchies in northern India, who fought frequent wars over territory and resources. The Magadha Empire and the Maurya Dynasty, 321–184 BC. This was the first unified dynasty of Indian civilization and the birthplace of Buddhism. It ruled between the 4th century BC and the 2nd century BC. In most parts of India, centralization and the rule of law have been implemented, and economic and cultural prosperity have been achieved, such as the Ashoka Pillar, the Magadha Code, Buddhist art, etc. The Maurya dynasty was the period when Buddhism flourished. The founder of this empire was Chandragupta, who overthrew the kingdom of Magadha and unified northern and central India. His grandson Ashoka continued to expand the territory of the empire, reaching the largest extent in Indian history. King Ashoka later converted to Buddhism, promoted the policy of non-violence and tolerance, and promoted the spread of Buddhism and cultural exchanges. The reason for the decline of this empire was that after the death of King Ashoka, divisions and rebellions occurred within the empire, and it was also invaded by foreign tribes. Gupta period, 320 to 550 AD. This is the representative period of India's classical period and the revival of Hinduism. The major political force during this period was the Gupta dynasty, which established a powerful empire in northern India and also had influence in southern India and Central Asia. The cultural achievements of this period were very high, and Indians made outstanding contributions in art, architecture, literature, science, mathematics, astronomy, medicine, etc. The reason for the transition in this period was the decline of the Gupta dynasty, which led to the division and chaos of India, and also faced threats from foreign nations. Early Middle Ages, 600 to 1300 AD. This was a turbulent period in Indian history and the introduction of Islam. This period was characterized by the emergence of many regional kingdoms in India, with frequent wars and alliances among them, and no single kingdom was able to unify India. At the same time, starting from the 8th century, Arab and Turkic Muslims invaded India and established some dynasties, such as the Ghazni dynasty and the Delhi Sultanate. There were religious and cultural conflicts and fusions between these dynasties and the Hindu kingdoms. The reason for the transition in this period was the rise of the Mongol Empire, which destroyed many dynasties in Central and West Asia and also caused great damage and influence to India. The Kingdom of Gujarat during this period was a maritime trading kingdom of Indian civilization and the center of the revival of Hinduism. It controlled the trade routes on the west coast of India and the Arabian Sea between the 8th and 13th centuries AD, and conducted trade with the Middle East and Southeast Asia. It carried out extensive exchanges and promoted the reform and spread of Hinduism, such as Somanasa, Wallabi sect, Salastra temple, etc. The Mughal Empire. This was the last unified dynasty of Indian civilization and the fusion place of Islamic culture. It established a huge multi-ethnic and multi-religious empire between the 16th century AD and the 18th century AD, and implemented a religious country. The policy of tolerance and cultural inclusion has created many outstanding architectural and literary works, such as the Taj Mahal, Akbar the Great, and the Life of Babur. The ethnic origins of Indian civilization are a complex and controversial topic because India is a diverse country with different languages, religions, cultures, and histories. Generally speaking, Indians can be divided into the following main ethnic groups. Indo-Aryans. This is the main ethnic group in northern and central India, accounting for about 75% of India's total population. They belong to the Mediterranean type of Europa race, with light skin, straight hair, and a high nose bridge. Their ancestors were the Aryans who migrated to India from Central Asia around 1500 BC. They brought with them the Indian language and Vedic culture of the Indo-European language family. They mixed with the local indigenous people and formed the caste system and social hierarchy in India. They mainly believe in Hinduism, but some also believe in Islam and Christianity. Dravidians. This is the main ethnic group in southern India, accounting for about 20% of the total population of India. They are of the Dravidian race type with dark skin, curly hair, and broad noses. Their ancestors were natives of the Indian subcontinent and spoke Dravidian languages such as Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam, etc. Their culture was influenced by the ancient Indus Valley Civilization, classical Indian civilization, and other peoples of South Asia. They mainly believe in the Shiva sect of Hinduism, but some also believe in Christianity and Islam. Mongoloid Turkic. This is the main ethnic group in northeastern and northwest India, accounting for about 5% of India's total population. They are of the Mongoloid type with yellow skin, straight black hair, and flat faces. Their ancestors were the Mongols, Turks, Tibeto-Burmans, etc., who migrated to India from East and Central Asia. They brought with them Sino-Tibetan and Altaic languages, such as Assamese, Bengali, Urdu language, etc. Their culture was influenced by Buddhism, Islam, and Hinduism. They mainly believe in Buddhism and Islam, but some also believe in Hinduism and Christianity. Negritos. This is a minority ethnic group in southern India and the Andaman Islands, accounting for about 0.1% of the total population of India. They are Negritos of the Negro-Australian race, with dark skin, curly hair, and short stature. Their ancestors were the earliest inhabitants of the Indian subcontinent and spoke some isolated languages, such as Andamanese, Orang, etc. Their culture maintains its original characteristics, mainly relies on gathering and hunting for a living, and believes in animistic nature worship. Indian civilization is one of the oldest and most diverse civilizations in the world. Its political economy, culture, and art all have rich connotations and characteristics. Because there is too much content, we will try to condense it for you in the simplest way. Relevant content allows you to gain insight into relevant in-depth knowledge about Indian civilization in the shortest possible time. Political system. Indian civilization has experienced the replacement of multiple dynasties and empires, from the ancient Magadha and Maurya Empire, to the Delhi Sultanate and the Mughal Empire in the Middle Ages, to the modern British India and India Republic. India's political system has also changed accordingly, from monarchy to federal democracy, from the Brahminical caste system to the coexistence of multiple religions, and from centralization to decentralization. India's political system reflects the complexity and diversity of Indian society. Economic model. The economic model of Indian civilization also has a long history and diverse forms. India was one of the first regions in the world to cultivate cotton and produce cotton fabrics. It was also an important trading partner on the ancient Silk Road and Spice Road. India's economic model has experienced transformation from a feudal economy dominated by agriculture and handicrafts, to a market economy dominated by the service industry, to a modern economy dominated by industry and information technology. India's economic model has also been influenced by different ideas and theories, such as Nehru's mixed economic model, Gandhi's village economic model, and the economic reform models of liberalization and globalization. Text and language. The text and language of Indian civilization are also very rich and diverse. The oldest writing in India is the Indus script of the Indus Valley Civilization, which remains undeciphered. The oldest language in India is Sanskrit, which belongs to the Indo-Aryan branch of the Indo-European language family and is written using Devanagari script. Sanskrit is the sacred language of Hinduism and the primary language of Indian classical literature. Other languages in India are mainly divided into four major language families: Indo-European, Dravidian, Austro-Asterix, and Sino-Tibetan. There are as many as 22 local official languages and hundreds of dialects in India, the most widely spoken of which are Hindi and English. Culture and art. The culture and art of Indian civilization are the pride and spiritual pillar of the Indian people. They demonstrate the wisdom and creativity of the Indian people. Indian culture and art include many forms, such as literature, philosophy, music, dance, painting, sculpture, architecture, clothing, jewelry, etc. Indian culture and art have been influenced by different religions such as Hinduism, Buddhism, and Islam, and also absorbed elements from different cultures such as Greece, Persia, Arabia, and Europe. Indian culture and art are renowned for their unique style, rich content and profound meaning. Religious beliefs. The religious beliefs of Indian civilization are an important part of the Indian people's lifestyle and values. They embody the Indian people's understanding and reverence for gods, nature, and life. India is a multi-religious country, the most important of which is Hinduism. About 83% of the population in India believes in Hinduism. Hinduism can be traced back to Brahmanism founded by the Aryans in 1500 BC. Around the 8th century AD, Shankara absorbed some Buddhist and Jain teachings and developed into Hinduism. Hinduism is a complex synthesis of many faiths. The three main gods of Hinduism are Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu, and there are many other gods and incarnations in Hinduism. Hinduism emphasizes the concepts of reincarnation and karma, believing that an individual's behavior and practice affect their future life. And individuals should be rewarded or held accountable according to their behavior and conduct 9-10. In addition to Hinduism, there are other religions in India, such as Buddhism, Jainism, Islam, Christianity, Sikhism, etc. These religions also have an important position and influence in the history and culture of India. Architecture. The architecture of Indian civilization is an important part of Indian history and culture. They demonstrate the aesthetic taste and architectural skills of the Indian people. Indian architecture has many unique features, the most notable of which is the use of many culturally significant decorative and architectural elements. Indian architecture often uses meaningful patterns and decorations on buildings, such as carved mythological stories and traditional Indian patterns. Indian architecture often features symmetry, which can be seen in the design and structure of the buildings. Indian architecture often uses curves and arcs to increase the visual impact and beauty of the building. Buildings in India are often very tall, sometimes exceeding the height of modern architecture. India is rich in stone resources, so Indian buildings usually use a large amount of stone for construction. Indian architecture has been influenced by different cultures and religions, from Hinduism and Buddhism to Islam and European colonialism, which have left their mark on Indian architectural styles. There are many famous masterpieces of Indian architecture, such as the Taj Mahal, Agra Fort, Red Fort in Delhi, Fatehpur Sikri, etc. Let us summarize today's content. Indian civilization is one of the oldest civilizations in history. It has a long and complex development process. The origins of Indian civilization can be traced back to the ancient urban civilization in the Indus Valley, which declined and disappeared about 3,700 years ago. Later, Indian civilization was influenced by various foreign cultures such as Aryans, Greeks, Persians, Central Asians, Arabs, Mongols, and British, forming diverse and rich characteristics. Indian civilization has also had a profound impact on surrounding areas and the world, especially in religion, philosophy, science, art, etc. Therefore, Indian civilization can be said to be one of the civilizations that has survived to this day, but it is also one of the civilizations that is constantly changing and innovating. The impact of Indian civilization on the world. Religion. India is the birthplace of religions such as Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism. These religions all emphasize concepts such as reincarnation, cause and effect, and liberation, and have an important impact on human spiritual life and values. Among them, Buddhism and Hinduism have spread widely to Asia and Europe, becoming worldwide religions. Philosophy. Indian philosophy is an important part of world philosophy. It involves metaphysics, epistemology, logic, ethics, aesthetics, and other fields, and proposes many unique ideas and theories, such as Brahman, emptiness, karma, dharma, reincarnation, and liberation. Weight. Indian philosophy also has an influence on philosophical thoughts in China, West Asia, Europe, and other places. Science. Indian science is an important contributor to world science. It has many innovations and discoveries in mathematics, astronomy, medicine, chemistry, etc., such as Arabic numerals, the concept of zero, decimal point, algebra, trigonometry, pi, rotation of the Earth, sun eclipses, lunar eclipses, vaccines, cosmetics, etc. Art. Indian art is an important part of world art. It includes sculpture, painting, architecture, music, dance, drama, and other forms, with unique styles and characteristics, such as Hindu and Buddhist statues, Taj Mahal, Indian music and dance, etc. Literature. Indian literature is an important part of world literature. It includes epics, myths, fables, poems, dramas, novels, and other types. It has rich imagination and creativity, such as Mahabharata, Ramayana, Vedas, Upanishads, Kama Sutra, Shaktara, etc. The above is the overview of Indian civilization we are going to introduce today. I hope you will like it and learn some interesting knowledge. If you want to know more details and stories about Indian civilization, please follow our channel and leave your thoughts and questions in the comment area. See you next time.